Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to We Call Bank. Now, you may be wondering, where's your guest? Well, he flaked on me. Nah, I'm just kidding. He said he was sick, said he wasn't going to be here, so, the show must go on. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of busy this week and forgot about getting topics to the last minute. So I don't have any, but I am going to talk about the Chiefs-Ravens game, the 49ers and Lions game. And then we're going to talk about my predictions for the Super Bowl, Chiefs versus the 49ers. Not a bad matchup. I did predict the Niners going all the way. I just want to point that out. And then I said Dolphins, which Dolphins ended up losing in the first round. So I got that wrong. But hey, 50 out of 100, percent, one team right. I'll take it. But and then after that, we're going to talk about NBA reserves. I don't remember the reserves off the top of the list. I just want to talk about the fact that Trae Young did not get in over people like Paolo, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey. Now, Tyrese Maxey balled out after he got picked. Last night he went crazy. I'm not going to lie. He did go crazy. But I don't know. I just feel like Trae putting up 27 points per game, 10, almost 11 assists per game. Like, when are we going to start putting some respect on his name? Like, I know the team's not doing that great. And that's not all his fault, and obviously he doesn't go crazy every game. But at the same time, I mean, DeJounte isn't playing up to the level that we thought he would defensively. Offensively, he has some nights. He does have some nights where he goes crazy. But the rest of the team not really performing that well. Jalen Johnson, only bright spot that I see right now. I like DeAndre Hunter, but last year, just not it, man. The injury's stacking up. He can't, find that groove. So I don't know. I really don't know what to do with the team. It's tough. But anyways, we're going to start off Ravens and Chiefs. It's a lot closer of a game than the score tells, which obviously the score ended up being close too. But I mean, 2 fumbles by Lamar Jackson. That's tough. Also, a fumble by the receiver. We know the story. Turnovers. If you can win the turnover battle, you have a pretty good chance to win the game. And I think the odds of winning a game after you've gotten one interception is tremendously high than without one. So we've seen it. Turnovers seal the deal, and just too many turnovers by the Ravens. I didn't feel like they played bad as a whole. Defense played pretty good. Just, I don't know, missed opportunities, mistakes. All in all, I feel like they had a chance to win the game, and they just couldn't get it done. I guess I'll talk about the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Justin Tucker stuff. I didn't really read into it deep, but I did see kind of the back and forth. And I guess the gist of what the video I saw was Patrick Mahomes was trying to practice his dropbacks, and Justin Tucker's stuff was in the way, and he wouldn't move it. Or I don't know if he moved it. I don't know if they asked him to move it or not. This is just what it seems like. He didn't want to move it. Travis Kelce took it upon himself to pick it up, throw it off to the side. And then I thought I had saw one article that said he went and threw it in the trash. So I don't know what's true, but if they asked him to move it, then it's kind of tough. He's a kicker. He needs to be kicking, line in front of the goal. There's only so much space. He can't be kicking from the sideline. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's why can't Mahomes move over to the left side of the field and throw from there? I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't know how much space they had, but it's kind of weird. And don't both teams have time allocated to do these things, to kick, to throw the ball? So I don't really understand why neither one of them was already ready. But that's beside the point. A lot of back and forth going there. I don't really know whose side I'm on. A lot of people are not liking Travis Kelce recently, since he's just been in the headlines since the Taylor Swift dating rumors, and then they end up being a couple, and she's coming to all the games. Ever since then, he's been in the media so much that I think people are disliking him now. And I will admit, I did like him before, and now it seems, I could be wrong, maybe that's just the perspective I'm seeing it from, but he does seem a little bit more arrogant. But I mean, as a person, he seemed pretty genuine, through the podcast and certain other things I've seen. He seems like a cool guy, but I don't know, the persona that I'm getting now is kind of arrogance. So I don't know. Either way, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge somebody from what you see online. So it is what it is. They'll both get over it. Ravens lost, Chiefs are going on. We'll forget about this in a month. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't expect anyone to blow it out of proportion. But other than that, let's move on to the Lions and 49ers game. Anyway, moving on. Lions. Man, I thought the Lions had a pretty good chance to win that game. Obviously, they were up a lot in the first half. But I even said to my dad when we were watching the game, I was like, the 49ers, they're going to come back. They're going to make the game close regardless if they lose or win, which they ended up winning. I thought they'd bring the game back, and they did end up bringing the game back and winning. George Kittle called it in like the second quarter. He was like, they played better than us this half, but wait till the end. And, hey, they ended up pulling it out. The 49ers just have so many weapons. It's like, how long could the Lions really hold up? And it was crazy. I'm like, dude, I'm over here rating the 49ers defense this high, and the Lions are just coming in here and slapping them. I'm like, at some point it's got to give. At some point the Niners got to figure it out. And if the Lions can score 21.5 or however many they scored, so can the Niners. And, that's what they did. They ended up coming back, putting points on the board, grabbing the momentum, and after that, the Lions just kind of went downhill. I won't say, like, all in all, it was a very entertaining game to watch. I just don't know what happened in the second half. It seemed like they weren't really targeting St. Brown as much as they should have when he was cooking in the first half. I think they said since halftime, this was like in the fourth quarter when I was watching the game, one of the commentators was like, they haven't thrown St. Brown the ball since the first half, and it was like the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left or something. And that's just unacceptable. You got one of the best receivers in the league, and you're not giving him the ball. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to lose the game if you ain't getting your best player the ball, and he's not going to want to run routes. So, which I don't think he's that kind of player, but I know he thinks very highly of himself, which any NFL player should. So, I think he wants the ball, and why not give him the ball? I do like the combination of Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield. I didn't really feel like they did amazing, but I didn't feel like they did bad. But I didn't really look at the stats, so I don't know how many points they scored in the second half. And I want to say, didn't the Niners not have any points? Maybe they had a field goal going into halftime? No, they had 7, didn't they? It was 7-21, wasn't it? I think so. But I don't know. I mean, that's a tough game. 49ers end up pulling it out. That's who I picked to go to the Super Bowl. And, hey, they're going to get that trophy, baby. I honestly don't know. I don't know who I'm going to pick. You got Chiefs and 49ers, and that's an amazing matchup. But and after I saw, the people saying that the NFL's rigged, it's going to be Eminem and Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, I was like, you know what? If the Lions win, I'll believe it. But 49ers end up pulling it out. So 49ers Chiefs, man, that's a tough matchup. That's a fun matchup to watch. I really don't mind whoever wins it. If Patrick Mahomes wins it, hey, clap it up. You're one step closer to topping Brady's rings. And I'm all for that. Let me tell you, I'm all for him topping Brady's rings. But I don't know, man. Brock Purdy and them 49ers, man, I feel like both teams have a good defense, don't get me wrong. But the Niners have so many more weapons than the Chiefs that it's like, okay, L'Jarius Sneed, he's going to take somebody away. Is it going to be Brandon Ayuk? Is it going to be Deebo Samuel? Is it going to be Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield? Is it going to be George Kittle? Like, he can only take one of these players away. Not that there aren't other good people on, the Chiefs defense, but not like it has in the previous Super Bowls where they went. So I think, he can take Ayuk away or Deebo away, but there's so many more options, and we see it time and time again. Like, when the 49ers can't seem to get anything going on offense, usually George Kittle is the answer. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough game either way. I think it can go either way. But if I had to make my prediction, what are we going with here? It's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to lie. It is. And they get that Taylor Swift superstar buff. Travis Kelce goes from a 91 overall to a 99. You know what I'm saying? So, man. Dude, I got to think on this. I don't want to make any rash decisions, okay? I think I'm going to go with... I can't bet against Mahomes. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Although, my heart's telling me Niners. My mind's telling me Mahomes. My heart's telling me Purdy. At the end of the day, I'm happy either way. But I'm locking it in. I'm going with the Chiefs. Chiefs in the playoffs, they just a different team. Like, let's just keep it real. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They always find a way to bring it back. They always find a way to fight. So I gotta go with the Chiefs. Going with the underdogs, or maybe they're not the underdogs anymore, but I consider them to be the underdogs. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Anyway, so moving on. We're gonna move on to the NBA. This is gonna be a short podcast because it's going to be shorter when I ain't got a co-host to give their perspective on anything. But Paul George did make the All-Star game. I want to give a shout-out to Dallas. He did say it would be crazy if Kawhi and Paul George didn't make it. Paul George ends up making it. So shout-out to Paul George. Obviously deserves it. But he's in a position where, like, there's so many good forwards. That's why it's hard for him to make it. And he's on a team with another really, really talented forward. So that makes it hard. But shout-out Paul George for making it. Really good player. But I got to talk about Trae Young here, man. And it's tough because the question always comes back to, if you're wanting Trae Young to be in, or if you're wanting somebody to be in, who do you take out? And I did see some things like, oh, okay, if Joel Embiid can't make it, they can put Trae in, or they can put any position in. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it has to be a big man or it can be anybody else. But Trae Young was like second in guards for fan votes and still didn't get in, which is crazy to me. Other guards that got in as far as reserves, Jalen Brunson, Paolo Banchero, and Tyrese Maxey. And Jalen Brunson's a killer. Don't get me wrong. I don't got nothing against him. He is a Knicks, so he is a Knicks player. So you already know we got some beef between Hawks and Knicks. But with that being said, he deserves to be in. Like, I can't say he doesn't. Tyrese Maxey, I haven't followed him strongly. I don't know what his numbers are. I'm sure he has more rebounds per game than Trae. I'm sure he might be around 8 assists per game. Maybe he's got 10. I don't know. And points per game, I don't know what he's at. But if he's at 27, if he's not at 27 and 10, dang near 27 and 11, I don't know if he deserves to be in over Trae Young. That's just my opinion. Now, Paolo is a whole different story. The Magic played really well early in the season. Like, they were in, like, top 3 seeds. I don't know where they're at now. I think they've lost a good bit of games in a row. Or not in a row, but just lost a couple games since then. But Paolo, man, I'm fine with Paolo making it. So it's like the only one that I'm questioning is Tyrese, which, don't get me wrong, team record is good, but it's Tyrese and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, dang near the best player in the world besides Jokic. So I don't know, like, put Trae Young on that team with Joel Embiid. Like, I'm sure they win in games too. Don't get me wrong, but we saw Tyrese get selected. He plays that night. He drops 51 without Joel Embiid. So I don't know how to hate. Like, I really can't say any of these guys don't deserve to be in and Trae deserves to be in. But at some point, Trae missing it 2 years in a row when he's averaging over 10 assists a game and over 25 points a game, like, I don't know. If these players ain't got stats close, like, why are they getting in over him? And if it goes back to team record, I mean, shoot, I don't know. I don't know what to say at this point. All I can really say is they need to win games. If he wants to make it to the All-Star break, to the All-Star game, I mean, he's got to win. They got to win games before we get close enough. And I feel like that's the only way that league executives and other people around the league are going to vote for him. I don't know if, like, the players don't like him. I don't know if there's somewhere you can see, like, percentage of fan vote, NBA players, and, like, I don't know who they're picking from the NBA pool to vote in the first place, but who are they picking? And why don't they like Trae Young? That's the real question. Obviously played the villain arc against the Knicks in the playoffs, beating the Sixers, beating the Knicks. Like, a lot of people don't like him, and those are some pretty big fan bases. So I don't know how to feel about it. Either way, I'm gonna rock with Trae Young. Somebody asked me top 3-point guards in the league right now. I got Curry, Dame, Trae. I don't care. I don't need to hear it. I like Tyrese. I like Halliburton and Maxey. I like De'Aaron Fox. I like Ponchero. I like Luka. I like Lillard. I already said Lillard. Who am I thinking of? I really like Jamal Murray. DeJounte's nice. Like, there's a lot of nice point guards, but if you asking me, and it's probably personal bias, like, I'm gonna put Trae Young at least in my top 5 every time. But man, snubbed again. I can't even say, like I said, I can't even say snubbed. Can I really say snubbed? Because when you say snubbed, you got to tell me You got to tell me who you pulling out, and I can't say I'm taking anybody out. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this topic. Shout out to all the people that made the All-Star game. All of them are good players. I can't really, like I said, I can't pull anybody out. But let me see if there's some topic I can pull out the bag. Is there anything I know? This isn't NBA or NFL related, but CM Punk Royal Rumble. Saw him. He got injured. Shout out to him. Hope quick recovery. I never really liked CM Punk, but for some reason, which is kind of like the Randy Orton thing. Back in the day, like I was a John Cena fan. I was a Jeff Hardy fan. Shawn Michaels fan. Like I wasn't really about Randy Orton because he was always the villain. He was always the bad guy. And since I stopped watching it, which I haven't watched it in a while, like there's been times where I went back and watched a little bit, or like caught some clips of like the new stuff. And Randy's one of those old guys that's still hanging around, and that just brought the respect up from me for him. And I like Randy Orton, man. Same thing with CM Punk. Didn't really like him. He ends up getting back in AEW, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Whatever. He had a little stint in the UFC, got beat up, but hey, you got to get out there and try things. You never know. Like he could have went out there and been good, and he gets to continue that. But you got to try things. Sometimes things don't work out, but all in all, shout out to the man. Hope speedy recovery and get back out there to wrestling because the fans love you, man. The people like you. They know who you are from back in the day. So shout out to him. Other than that, honestly, I wish I could have done a longer podcast, but like I said, I didn't have the topics ready. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.